Hello, everyone, and welcome to Dirt Road Cinderella. And thank you for stopping by. As many of you know, Josh of VCG Resins and Chris Bell of Scale Speed Garage have been hosting the Pro Stock Effing Everything group build. The build must feature at least one part from VCG Resins, and the idea is to pro stock something that isn't normally a pro stock dragster. As you can see by the picture, my idea was to pro stock a Revell 1950 Olds Custom using a Nova back half and a drag race competition engine from VCG, as well as wheels and tires from Jay's Resin Wheels. This is the general stance that I was shooting for, with the fat rear tires tucked well into the fenders. I took some time to decide how I wanted to proceed concerning the frame. When my first idea failed, I went to asking some friends when Sam of Sam's Model Mayhem suggested giving a NASCAR kit a look, as I needed more space for that large engine with all its plumbing. So I dug out the only NASCAR kit I had and decided it would make a suitable donor for my needs. It was the perfect width and gave me room for the engine. I again made use of what I learned on the 56 Del Rey from Fred Henry on this Oldsmobile chassis. And in the end, the first cut I made was the last cut and it fit perfectly into the chassis. I also trimmed a little bit from the end of the safety cage in front of the engine. Once I joined the stock car chassis to the Nova back half, it was time to test fit some things. Fred's method makes doing this so very easy and rewarding. Thank you again, Fred, for the help. I truly appreciate it. Now that I had the chassis together, I decided to add the dash and door cards from the Olds to the new chassis to try and retain some of the vintage look of the Oldsmobile, which I was able to do, and then it was time to build a roll cage, of which I know nothing about. I can say that I am no more a fan of building a roll cage than I am of assembling one. Setting the chassis aside for a bit, I set to removing the molding from the body. This was because I wanted to save weight on a race car, but also so I could get the decals to lay flat. It went very well, and I am pleased with the smooth look. Next, it was back to work on the chassis and getting the engine and exhaust worked out. The headers that come with the engine are beautiful but will not fit my needs, so I made headers from styrene and shrink wrap tubing. It took a bit of time, but I am pleased with their look and function. They are even fairly uniform looking, I think, and even dumps inside the frame rails, which can be seen in this mock-up. There was still some fine-tuning to be done, but the engine fit and sits on the engine mounts. Finally, I was off to the paint booth to shoot some Scale Finishes 1957 Ford Star Mist Blue through my Gallery Mobius TG. That airbrush makes me look like I have more talent than I really do. I really think the blue looks good, and I wanted it to appear as sky once I put the decals on it, which I did next. I think it turned out pretty well, and does look like sky behind the Soaring Eagle decal. While the decals dried, it was time to detail paint the engine. I am very happy with the way the engine is turning out at this point. The gold is the Fusion firm, and I think for this purpose it looks amazing. I saved detailing the engine to the very last minute, as I was a little wary of using the fittings that this engine comes with. I had to really take my time and plan the fitting position and plumbing. It took me a good while to detail this engine, but in the end I think it is very striking and I am pleased with the job I did. Let's give the engine a twirl before setting it on the chassis so you can see it from all sides. The long hoses are coolant hoses I have not trimmed yet. You can also see the spark plug boots that I used, which are from MCV products. I could not use the oil tank on the front of the engine like it was designed for, and after a chat with a friend, I discovered sometimes they were moved and even on the passenger floorboard, so I opted to mount it to the inside of the firewall and run the hose through it to connect them. With the engine in place, it was time to test everything one last time before I start the rest of the final assembly. I think it looks low and mean. It is coming together very well. Y'all know what's next, right after these words from our sponsors. Sponsor Spotlight. Are you a passionate modeler, constantly searching for that perfect, intricate detail to bring your miniature masterpiece to life? Do you dream of crafting scale models so accurate they could be mistaken for the real thing? Then it's time to discover VCG Resins by Reese. VCG Resin specializes in providing the highest quality, most unique, and incredibly detailed resin parts and accessories for your 1/24th and 1/25th scale model cars, trucks, SUVs, and even your custom dioramas. Modelers can find everything from intricate engines and suspension components to realistic wheels and essential diorama accessories, all designed to bring their miniature masterpieces to life. Are you ready to elevate your next build? Please visit vcgresins.com and don't forget to use our discount code DRC1024 at checkout for 10% off your order. At Scale Finishes, they specialize in high-quality automotive-grade paints, clears, and primers designed to bring your scale models to life. Their authentic colors and premium products provide a flawless finish every time. Visit scalefinishes.com and use our discount code Cinderella10 at checkout to receive 10% off on your order. Welcome back, and thank you for sticking it out. Shall we see what I have come up with? If you would please, editor, unveil the 1950 Oldsmobile Pro Stock Effing Everything build. And there we have it in all its glory. A soaring eagle of freedom on the side of what I would hope is a race car that flies. The chrome is bare metal foil, and the car is not clear coated. There are many errors, but I really poured a lot of effort into this build, which should look pretty great on a shelf somewhere. I did a rather awful job on the firewall, but I will do better next time. There is a Wildwood master cylinder mounted there to help stop this sled once it gets rolling. The J's resin wheels have Fusion Firm chrome on them. The fuel cell was kit bashed from the NASCAR kit as well, and the parachute is from my parts hoard. The interior is pretty basic. A seat from the parts hoard, a mason jar, Lenco shifter with linkage that I added. I lost the dash decals, so that was just painted black. When I raise the camera, you can see a dark spot on the passenger door. That is ultra-thin liquid glue that landed on it during a moment of panic and error at my bench. There was no getting it off by the time I noticed, and I didn't have another set of decals, so I did not want to strip it. An amazing learning experience was had by myself and my editor. I don't recommend it. All in all, I'm very happy with this build, and happier yet to have finished and moved onto something else. I hope that you have enjoyed my build. There will be a photo gallery and full build list to follow. Thank you to everyone who had a part in this build with me. I would be lost without y'all. Thank you all for stopping by and checking out my build. Have a great week, and until next time, later y'all.